Right, it's 9 o'clock. Can you would all please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning.
Take one, we are separated. They're already divided, kind of offset.
I'll take the top two and pass it down. All right. I would entertain a motion to approve minutes of Wednesday, July 29, 26. So moved.
Second.
Okay, Barker moved, McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, August 3, 2026 as written. I'll move.
I'll second that.
Thompson second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. A few miscellaneous motions. To entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Austin Weiss, Deputy Director, Radiological Officer, step change, completion of IPP, wage classification from 55-6 to 55-7, wage from $31.48 to $32.23, effective August 1st, 2026.
Assume, is that probably the 6 month or the probation time?
I believe so.
I make that motion.
I'll second it. Okay, McCurry moved and Nappendross seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Then, oh wow. Okay, this must be this motion. Based upon the recommendation of the Emergency Management Director and approval of the County Attorney as to form, to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the station agreement between Coffee County and Kansas State University on behalf of the Weather Data Library. The agreement allows Kansas State University to place a weather station on county-owned property on the southeast side of the Coffee County Airport on 18th Road, just east of Native Road. The Kansas Mesonet is an automated environmental monitoring network of over 90 research-grade weather stations spread across nearly every county in Kansas. Established in 1986 and managed by Kansas State University's Weather Data Library, it provides real-time and long-term weather and climate data to the public, farmers, and researchers. Data access through the mesonet.k-state.edu is free for public use and download.
I'll make that motion.
Wait a minute. This is some questions. Now, is this going to cost us anything?
No.
Is it going to interfere with the airport project that we've got going on with plating? No, it's on the opposite side. From what? That's my understanding.
It's on the southeast
I
part
read
of that
that,
property it's on.
but it's with the plating that's going on, I didn't know how far south that went.
The plating's on
The
the,
north.
it's gonna say on the
18.
east side of that property. Avery checked to the north.
So we're good.
So you know how big of an area it takes?
Is this replacing the one that they got out there?
That's the the tower she's talking about in the
Right.
OEPC meeting. I don't know specifics other than I know it's a tower, right, what you said, and then your last data.
About an area this big as this room.
Do I?
About an area as big as this room, is the picture of it.
I believe this is a lot more sophisticated
Than
than what
what
we have
they've got
now.
now. Yeah.
Any other questions?
We need a second.
I need a motion.
Oh, I make the motion.
Okay,
Oh, Thompson moved
Oh,
said I
originally.
moved.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thompson moved, McCurry seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Just thinking, add some value, having the weather information.
Yeah.
And so,
I first heard somebody talk about it, it was over a year ago, I believe. I think for Coffee County, yeah, something like that, it'll have some value, definitely. Entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Ethan Clay, Corrections 1, new hire, subject to new hire IPP, wage classification 30-2, wage $20.80, effective August 3rd, 2026.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thompson moved, McCurry second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. And then I would entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Sergio Rodriguez, new hire, subject to new hire IPP, wage classification 30-1, wage $20.26, effective August 24th, 2026.
Does somebody know what department he's working in?
Sure.
The jail.
I mean, I would assume that.
Oh, yeah.
Says
the
corrections 1.
Jail.
Could be jail, corrections 1.
I'll put that in there, I'll put that in there.
Yeah, it's not in the
Jill.
motion. Thank you.
Okay, so we had jail, corrections 1, new hire. So moved. Okay, Abendroth moved, Parker seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. That brings us to our first agenda item. We have Ken Coltrane from Midwest Engineering regarding Public Wholesale Water Supply District Number 12, Water Treatment Facility Upgrade Project.
Thank you,
appreciate
it. Well, get connected technology-wise. Okay, remind me on this for plugging the power in.
I've got one HDMI, one's power, and you may have to plug in, I'm not sure where the TV would be.
You can see the remote to the TV over there.
TV remote.
Clean it off the tables.
We did for election time.
Dog ticket.
We need to, do one more special.
Oh, it's dark technology.
It's not. Well organized.
There it goes. This is loading, so
Yes, I think, yep.
very good.
Okay. Then, we're, thank you for letting me come back and share. I've been here a couple of times before, so I brought the big guns with me today. Eric Ferguson, Mayor Lebo is on the Wholesale 12 board, and James is on the copy 3 on the Wholesale 12 board. So now they can in person tell you if everything I'm sharing with you today is accurate. What we would like to start with is this piece. I think that you have in front of you. That's what I'd like to hit. Wait, we just lost that. Is it reconnecting? So what I did for you is we have a full page of these options, and this is what we ran through at the Wholesale 12 meeting with Danny, the one that I wasn't able to attend. And we listed out some of the work here. And so what I'd like to do today is just kind of run through that just as a step by step so you can see that. So again, we are talking about the Wholesale 12 water treatment plant. It's just off of the Melbourne Lake to the south right there. Been providing water for quite a few years. So one of the pieces, when I came in the first couple of times to talk about this, we had two things. What if we did something at the north property and tried to do all of this infrastructure, and then what happens if we just do current contracts? But my takeaway from the last two times we've chatted is that just current contracts wasn't enough, and we're not quite ready for the large development. So what if we have about 30% growth in there? So we reran our calculations to try and make something that would match that, and that's what I'm going to talk through today. So we turned it into a multi-phase approach, and I'll run through that. So phase one would be to do current contracts. They need a 3 MGD plant. The focus that is going to be for drought and emergency. That just gets water for what is happening right now and has been really for the last 40 years. If we come into another drought situation and they run the plant for 2 weeks and one of those lines or the pumps go down, somebody will be without water. And so that's the focus, and we can do that with using the existing clarifier. So I think before I said it's hard to build half a water treatment plant. We can actually do it with certain components. So use the existing clear well, the chlorine contact basin, the pumps, but a new water line from Melbourne, because it's only an 8-inch coming up from there, a new clarifier, chemical feed and filters, have some pump improvements. The lagoons are the big part. We already have one nasty grant from the state saying you got to do some work on the lagoons. And then site processing piping. So if we take 6 months to permit that, 18 months to construct, we anticipate we could do that work for about $15.2 million. Phase one, current contracts. Okay? So then stepping down to the next one is that next level of allowing 30% regional growth. That means if you're having development, you want to do some things, you can stop telling people, no, there's no water. And that's the situation we are in right now. And I actually have a little tidbit for you at the end. I'll share an example of that. So this phase would add that Clearwell complex, and if we have the new 3 MGD plant right beside the existing 1.2 plant, then we can actually supply 4.2 million gallons a day. And that is what would allow us to do a little bit of growth, whether it's residential, commercial, whatever we do. You'll have a 1 million gallon Clearwell, a new raw water line in the intake. It's possible to go down to the river. We're going to explore that option because right now it's a purchase contract as opposed to water rights, and there are rights available in Marizine. Going contact basin, high service pump building, a generator, and then we could get into demolition phase of the old Clearwell going contact basin and the pumps. Same thing, 6 months to permit, 18 months to construct. That step would take about 19.1 estimated, we think, to build. That's the point that we came in. We made this space in between those. If you decide to go any farther, Jenny gets a call and they say, hey, we're ready to build. Do you have water for us? And we can say, by the time you're built and ready to go, we can do it. So this would be an additional 3 MGD train to make a 6 million gallons available. The focus is industrial growth, and so you can have 2 3 MGD trains right beside each other. And so that would go through that entire process. You'd actually demo the 1.2 water treatment plant, most likely. Depends on how we're doing. Again, this is kind of future. This one would be more of an 18 months to design and permit and 18 months to construct. Of course, that all depends on who is coming in industrial growth, because a lot of them will ask you for an 18-month timeline. So you could do design build, you could work on that stuff. But this is future. And then at the very end on this, and this is for you, the focus on Coffee County is we can make the water, but then we need to be able to get it out of the plant. So if there is a designated site that you want to go to, if you want to put a line directly down to that, have an elevated storage tank so that they could have some supply just in case line breaks do happen, pumps do go down, let people get through, that would be about a $20.7 million estimate. And again, that one is more focused on Coffee County, either the north side, the airport side. That's a future piece. We don't have that identified yet.
So is your slide more up to date, or is our handouts, is that figure are different than from what we did when we talked about the other day? Ours says 22.5 million, and that says 20.7, and then phase 3 was up to 12.4 from 12. I think it was a 3 or whatever. Phase 2 was 19.6, and this is 19.1. What you had up there?
That's the one I sent you guys last week
What we have, yes.
from Angie. I hope I sent you the right one.
You don't see what?
But there was old versions, but I thought I sent you the new one.
Let me go see.
Okay. So my slides, I apologize. What I copied this off of has to be an old one because my numbers match your numbers. That's what I'm working on.
So your slide is off of an old version?
My slide is off from an old one.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me go back through this. Sorry, I'm going to do
Sorry, I just want to make sure we're on the same
no,
page.
that's absolutely the time of, hey, pause, time out. Alright.
Sorry, I know things have changed several times.
We've done lots of renditions on this. So this one is a 20.7, and the slide before was a 12.4, 19.1, 15.2. I think I know what I did. Let me show you. So, each of these are the full phases. And then, and this shows you just phase 1 and 2. Okay? Total amount at the end, you're just above 35 million to complete phase 1 and 2 all the way throughout. This is the part that I pulled out. I pulled out the engineering design to show you what that would look like. So out of these two, I pulled the engineering design out because that's step 1. We can't build it until it's designed. And I put it right up here at the top. So that 3.5 million is step 1 to be able to get all of this started.
Oh, and the 3.5 was involved in phase 1 and phase 2, and you pulled that number
I
out.
pulled that number out.
Put that as a separate entity. Okay.
That's what happened. So, on that, the slides that I had, I was working on that previous one. we had everything. So thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. Okay. So, again, it's a tremendous elephant. How do you approach a project of this magnitude? Number one is you have to design it to be able to get it according to how Wholesale 12 would like to operate. Again, we can fix them up the fanciest water treatment plant you've ever had. Everything's operating from the touch of the button. And if that's not how they want to operate their plant, they won't use all of that stuff. I've seen it way too many times. So we want to, typically here in rural Kansas, we like the Chevys and the Fords and Dodges, not the Mercedes and the Cat. We like to do it. So give them the right version of it, and this is first step. So that if we have it designed, then we can say, hey, we are ready to construct depending on what change you have. My apologies. This is where we're at. So step one to do this would be preparation of the engineering design documents, designing phase 1 and 2 to get a 4.2 million gallon capacity. That's how much water you can make. There may be some land and easements. Here's one little rendition that we did really quick. We need to go through the design to actually figure it out. We'll work with the Corps. They own quite a bit of that property up there. And then initiate the either water rights or the purchase agreement. And that can be done as fast or as slow as you want to do it. That is a $3.5 million task, is to line all of that. And I think before the first time I came in, we had either we can do one step and take care of everybody for emergency at 1.7, or we can do the full industrial growth for 4.7. Now you have that middle option of 30%. Let's see if that is on that. So that's this document, and I've also given you the schedule that goes along with that. So the piece that we're talking about with this first step is right here. You can see it comes in below that $5 million mark. That takes quite a bit of time. So the lines don't quite perfectly match up the exact same way. It's not a immediately get to that point, but over a process, we can do it in shorter than 18 months, but 18 months while you're figuring out exactly where you're at, we can do it over that process. And that includes some permitting, which that can take 6 months in itself, depending on how fast you want to go. So those are these two documents you have in front of you. That how we shared it at the board. Anything to add there? Okay. So questions from you, Zach?
So, I think you've addressed this before, but the percentage of water that Coffee County gets from this is, what kind of percentage?
We came up with 44%
Okay.
out of all of the 4 counties that actually purchase it.
And that was my next question. The 4 counties are Coffee, Franklin, Osage,
Anderson.
Anderson. Okay. So Anderson is what district?
Anderson 4.
Anderson 4, okay.
Yep. They have a few of their meters here in Coffee County, and some of them go just beyond Highway 59 over there at Richmond. Garnet.
And then that 44% is the highest of whoever's pulling the water.
Correct. Yep. I think we had 44%, and then maybe Osage was around 33, and then just a little bit in Franklin and Anderson. And I think that's what we talked about last time I was here. That makes me feel better about making this ask, is that regardless of anything that happens, this is going to be a benefit to Coffee County and providing them water.
And I think, when we're talking about regionally, I know some of us have been in kind of continual regional discussions with the other counties that are served by Public Wholesale 12. obviously coffee is a big customer, and then Osage County gets a lot of water from there. I think the county over in Osage is very supportive of this project. I talk to their economic development director frequently. The problem is, as far as like a monetary support right now, they don't have the funds to support like the engineering or anything moving forward right now. We've talked about they may be able to support in the way of applying for grants or different things like that. They're just not in a position to even have this discussion right now. That we continue to talk about how they can assist and support, and I think that's why we're kind of having the discussion with Coffee County. If we're wanting to move this forward pretty quickly, you know, you look at the timeline, 18 months and so forth, how can we contribute to kind of getting this moving while we're still looking at other funding sources for the bigger project? That's something I think we'll even be talking about as a group next week, looking at some of these other federal and state funds. But in the meantime, if we want to get this moving forward quickly, I think that's why we were looking at possibly how could Coffee County kind of support the efforts at this time. So just wanted to throw that up there.
So if Osage can assist us with getting some of the grants in out of their part, you provide the first step of accomplishing this. I would probably say going towards the water plant project as opposed to doing the design, depending on if we can get any grants for design. Because some of the other projects, like I have a small city we're working with. A couple of years ago, public schools were using the restrooms outside to conserve on water, doing all kinds of extreme things. They needed $24 million to be able to do it, and had 900 meters in town. There's no way they can do it. So we have CDBG, SRF, talking to USDA, Kansas Water Office, the EPA is coming in. We were able to stack up about 20 million out of that 24, and it takes every single one of those partners to accomplish something. So there may be some money for design out there if we can go and get it. So this would be towards a water plant project, and we can work through this.
You said that there could be some money out there for the design part of it.
It could be. Yeah. We're exploring some of those options right now.
So would that be
The
through
problem
grant?
is that if we only focus on grants and we don't have anything committed, we can spend the next 2 years chasing grants. So grants are wonderful, they're time consuming.
And most of them are competitive grants.
Very.
They'd be competitive against
Do like our own.
Most of them would be competitive grants. I mean, like ones within the state, like through the KWO, we'd be competing against every entity in Kansas.
Not to say we're still pursuing this option. We're still working on it.
But you need to know it is competitive grants.
And so time frame, I'll give you this little teaser here. I've been working on the Coffee County Water Study with Saban. He's asked us to provide a little update. So this map isn't ready, but it's going to show you just north of your airport right there. You have a 10-inch connection right there at Old 50 and 75. You have a 10-inch connection over here near Waverly that comes down to a 4-inch connection just 5 miles away from the plant. And so you've got a 4-inch line just a couple of miles away from your airport coming from wholesale. You do have a 5-inch connection coming right across the airport property right there. But the difficulty with that is that it's part of a 5- and 6-inch loop that goes around the entire lake. And it feeds all of these people right here.
It's pretty committed already.
And it's pretty committed already. So we've got some of the stuff, but is going to be from both entities. You're going to have to increase the ability to make water from both. Asking good questions. Any other?
So those lines that you just pointed out, they're capable of handling more water, but we just can't produce the water. Is that, or is that,
It's going to take both.
okay, so it's going to take larger lines?
Yeah, we can't just put in 4 miles of 8-inch line and it fixes the problem. You need that and increase your supply.
Supply, and that's where we're really, I mean, that's where we're maxed out at now.
I want to finish this up and confirm everything before we dive too deep into it, but it is an example that that's a situation that you're looking at.
I mean, I guess my thoughts, I'd like to see the big line come clear to Burlington. I mean, the ideal thing would be go clear south to the Woodson County line, but it's not within reason at this point, I guess. But it sure be nice if it came to Burlington, and then if there was additional need, that could be branched out from there. But
And we can set up some of those options and show you what
I mean, that's going to be, I suppose we'd be, if we get a sufficient line to the airport, then that could be added on to at a later date. My thought is we sure want to bury something big enough to that point to plan for future needs, because these lines, I mean, rural water lines now, a lot of them are over 50 years old, so they've got a pretty long lifespan. We sure want to, in my opinion, bury something big enough for future growth.
It's a great option to know what that would take is a good comparison.
But didn't you explain the other day the water usage needs to be there? If we put in too big of a water line, we have problems.
That is correct. So if
Both ways,
you have a large water line, I mean, eighth grade math, which I taught for a lot of years, just the amount of water in that line and how much they use it with residential in the county, that's going to sit there. And then when you turn on the tap, it's not going to be good. So we've helped other places out with this. We kind of like this approach. If you have that 5 or 6 inch line, you're going to be able to duplicate this up at the airport until you identified your users and exactly what you want to do. But then when that happens, then build your 8, 10, 12 inch line. And the fact that they have a loop is great. That is really, really helpful, because a lot of times you think, hey, I'll get you a 10-inch line, but then it sits there. Tie it in with that loop will be very helpful. Okay. Well, I really appreciate your time.
I do have a thought. I mean, how's that work in with Burlington? I mean, I know they're trying to make their plant more efficient right now. I mean, which the south part of the county, I mean, they might be able to increase capacity, I guess, down there. But I mean, I guess this would take care of the north part of the county without having to rely on Burlington.
Well, and the way I would approach it, and James certainly chime in if there's other options to consider, but if you are looking at industrial growth and it's somebody that their focus is what happens on downtime, what happens if there's a water line break and we don't get that, they aren't going to want to have one single source of water. They're going to want to know what happens if it breaks, and then we can go. We don't want to be in that situation. So it's not a and or. It's more of an and instead of an or question. So I haven't talked directly with Burlington. We've had a couple of calls as part of the water study together. That's my understanding. It's more about efficiency. They have some capacity there. But most likely it's tied up with water rights and how much water they can produce And the focus again on this is not average day stuff. If you look at the whole year, you're perfectly fine. It comes down to those 2 weeks in the middle of the summer or the month, depending on how August gets in Kansas, we're in it right now. And that month in January, that's when it happens, and then you have to make the choice of who gets water. And so this is not putting yourself into that position. And that's been our focus from the beginning, is we don't want to have this be a residential, agricultural versus industrial. This is a way to hopefully get those tied together, and they're both mutually beneficial from each other.
But if I understand it right, Hartington's got the capability of producing more water, they just don't have the water to obtain, is that correct? I mean,
That's my understanding right now.
No.
They need more water.
they're not large
Yeah,
enough.
they need more they're just about at their water right max right now.
And they can't get any more, but they've got the plant to, I mean, if,
They can increase them marginally, but I mean, not a terrific.
oh, okay.
They may be able to get more, but off of the Neosho River
Right.
Basin, that's a difficult conversation.
It's not. It's a lot, way more limited than what it is in America, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. There's room in Meredith,
Definitely more
Neosho
water.
River Basin,
Right,
the
right.
Assurance District, that's a very complicated. And again, I haven't had all of those conversations, it's just regular conversations per year. So we have to get official word on it.
So on the financial part of it, I mean, you're talking about the 3.5 million for the engineering. How would that look in the next 6 to 12 months? What kind of a financial commitment would you be looking at? Because I know you're pursuing grants and you don't know if you're going to get those or not, but
There's a couple of ways for us to do it. I think we have a call on grants coming up very soon to identify which ones are out there and the likelihood of them coming in. I'd rather not commit these funds to design until that conversation is had. I think that we can have that in the next month or so. And right now on all of this, we're talking probably a slow play of it, unless something comes in and you're like, okay, we need to jump in right now. So let's say 18 months, 3.5. If you just break that into thirds, that's one way to approach it. So what we like to do is run through all of our grants. And in the meantime, set up of what that could look like, because it is owned by Wholesale 12. They operate it, and unless you want to get into the water business, okay, some shaking of heads, no. Allow them to do that, and then you are contributing. So that's going to take a little bit of work. So setting up how you want to accomplish that while we're finishing up the grant conversation. And then for Wholesale 12, they're not going to move forward with a design on this unless they know funds are committed. So having a commitment of a certain amount of funds, and then they're willing to start. So
You're saying being that it's a third through the time, the commitment right now would be like $1.6 million up front? A third of one.
I would say maybe by the end of the year could be like the first invoice, because we don't do anything up front until we produce something and get it to you. We don't do that, and that would allow us time to finish up what grants we think are out there. You and Wholesale 12 can talk about how you would like to do it, and then so by the end of the year we could invoice for the work that we've accomplished.
Because if Osage isn't committed, or Franklin, or whatever, I mean, that's going to mean, I mean, how does that work then? Because a third of coffee would be 1.6, say. So if there's no commitment from the other side, where does that?
That means I have to work harder on finding the money for them, because the whole point on this is that we don't want to double or triple water rates and then not get past on everybody else.
Right. Okay, on that side of it, and this would be for you guys here. If, say, Franklin or Osage Anderson didn't jump in on this, could you increase their water rates and not affect our water rates?
I don't think so.
No, I think it's,
Why?
it's gonna,
Universally across
just the way the board's set up, it would be across all 12 entities.
I'm just trying to see how you could recoup your money back if they don't get in. We know we need it.
Yeah.
No matter what the hell they say, they're going to need it too. We also know finances around there. That'd be one way to recoup it, somehow.
I think how the statute reads, it's gotta be economical for all parties involved.
For all parties.
For all parties involved in the wholesale district.
So you can't just charge this one, this one, and this
Oh,
one.
That would-
right,
And like,
right.
That's the intent.
so part of this is where you're wanting to bring businesses in, possibly up north, Vito, airport, whatever. Coffee 3 supplies most of that water to them. So Coffee 3 will have to come to the board and increase the amount of water that they have allocated to them, they'll request, that they automatically have to pay for if it's used or not. So where it's Coffee 3 that's gonna supply this water, they would have to have an agreement that Coffee County's gonna use so many gallons, cause that's gonna have to be paid for. It's like the city of Lee,
So that's
we
what-
pay for a certain amount if we use it or we don't.
That's what each one of the districts right now has a certain allocation amount through wholesale 12 that they gotta buy, they gotta pay for it
So
whether they
it's
use
a
it or not.
steady flow of income.
Right, they have a minimum they can do and then a maximum they can purchase also.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Coffee 3 gets water from two places, we get Burlington and wholesale 12.
Okay.
But if we were to, we have a big project that was coming up, we can't get any more water from wholesale 12 or Burlington enough to supply everybody, so.
And we did talk about that the other day of maybe intertwining where everybody could get enough water if we do this increase, so we could help feed the other water districts in the county
They
to
just,
the south,
Right.
what they can get from Lyon or whatever.
The thing to remember is that the end result is you're gonna increase the water availability for everybody involved. For Coffee 3 can sell more water to more people, and people are gonna be buying more water, adding more meters, and so therefore there are gonna be more sales for public wholesale 12. The problem of it is we don't have a crystal ball to tell you how much it's gonna increase any of the sales, is what it comes down to.
that's the problem.
And as we have planning, remember is it starts to ball rolling, if somebody comes in and asks Jenny, what's going on in Coffee County, we've heard you got something going on. This allows her to go ahead and speak that we're working with Public Wholesale 12 to increase the capacity throughout Coffee County.
Because right now, there is growth going on as far as housing in the county, especially on the north side of it. I mean,
Right now, we can manage it at slow growth.
it's the big pop that would be, okay.
Right.
And we truly have run into situations like Dan was talking about with drought, et cetera.
Right.
We run 24/7 up there, and that's not good on everything, so replacing pumps and all that.
So, just tying this all up, what do we need to do as a commission to help you and Wholesale 12 pull the trigger on this?
So
No, I'm sorry. Doug. You're still going after Les, is that correct? So it's down the road
Yes.
before,
we have to, unless somebody is writing a check, and that's possible with, industry potentially coming in, we just don't have that, and we can't wait on that.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but then back to Todd's point.
Yeah, so step one is we can't do any of that stuff unless we have the plant designed and it is shovel ready. So that's where it comes down to this, is figuring out all of these phases, and to get 30%, we need the design there, and so that is $3.5 million. So to pull the trigger on it, we would need that amount of money to fund the design, the permitting, everything to have it shovel ready, and then we're ready to go. So this doesn't force you to serve time. You know, we can chase grants, do all of that stuff for the next 2 years, and we'll have that discussion in this room 2 years from now. if we can have these funds to do it, we get the design done, then that allows us to accomplish it.
The thing that I don't know if we've talked about yet is any money that you spend towards this can also go towards, I don't call it the cost share within a grant, but the matching funds within a grant.
And there are grants, especially the Kansas Water Office, that says you will increase your likelihood if you have matching funds. So if Coffee County is willing to allocate funds and has it written down to wholesale 12, we can say, we have matching funds of this amount and will increase our grant likelihood.
That'd be like a line item in our budget for them, like you did with SSM or something like that, where that's money's there for them to use. Now, there was one other thing in our meeting with Mark, and we were there, kinda got over my head. The attorney's side of it, that there's a lot of legalities that had to be worked out there that you guys lawyer had a lot of questions about, so.
And he has done lots of water, is a great expert to have at the table. So that part, number one, is how can those funds be transferred from Coffee County to wholesale 12, and letting those two work that out, Wade and Rick, and then making sure we follow the statute, like what you're talking about, the ability to charge different rates, everything, making sure we follow along with those guidelines. I see that as the two biggest pieces.
I suppose part of that challenge is that we'd be doing something that's outside of the county with Coffee County funds. I mean, that way, that's part of the catch.
I mean, yes and no. The water from 12 comes into Coffee County, so I think there's an argument.
Right, I'm not saying I have a problem with it, I just legality-wise, we'd have to make sure we were.
One of the grants we are pursuing, Osage County could help us with, they said, you can't get that because the water comes in from here. So there are some of those pieces. That's a certain pocket of money. So this, if you don't have those parameters on it, and legally you can set it up, it accomplishes it, so.
But they could also help us with grant writing, because of their per capita income is much lower, that would help us another avenue to getting money.
So if you do the very first step, a lot of times that will start to cascade if things happen. I can't guarantee it, but I've seen it enough times that we gotta get step one, and this is step one.
Well, I think everybody's in agreement that we're all eager to try to progress in whatever way we can, you know. We've all got budget limitations, obviously, it's not just Osage County, we're squeezing down all we can, you know, so.
And that's why I want to be very careful from the very first time I came in here. It's a big ask, I understand that.
Right.
But it is beneficial to Coffee County residents. So I understand you were taking care of them. And after 2+ years of work with these guys, this is the best thing I can come up with instead of waiting. If I don't have this, I have to wait and keep it.
Well, I appreciate both your entities working hard to try to make this happen too. It's a lot of cooperative effort here. So.
And then one last thing, have we already requested more water, or put our names on more water from
Yeah, I have from the state.
From the state.
Yep, I have that note up to them. So depending upon what we do, with the water purchase agreement, we can go up about halfway, but then we can't go the full way. So we're going to have to work out exactly what that will look like. They've got plenty. I think they can almost hit the 3 MGD. We're going to have to look at that.
Right.
They cannot hit the 6 without asking.
Okay.
But if we ask, and then we start.
We have to have a note that says, we are asking for more because of this reason. They need a reason to take to their committee and execute.
But if we're accepted at that, then whether we use we have to pay for that, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I know that wholesale 12 is not willing to take on that payment
Right.
I
until.
understand.
They know that we're wanting more
Right,
water
right,
somewhere along
right,
the line.
right.
Yeah, we just gotta,
And it needs to be written and
Right.
agreed to.
Okay.
Kind of what we continue to discuss is, you know, there's all those possibilities, getting more water, bringing in more commercial or industrial or residential growth, but none of that can start until we kind of start working on the design. So that's gonna take time, and while that is going on, you know, we're still having conversations about who's gonna be the water users, or what does our growth look like in the next 5 to 10 years. But for me, I don't see a way to really move that forward until we start moving the project forward.
So here's where I think you need to go. You know what the ask is. The initial ask is up to $3.5 million, because without that, you don't get a design and things stall out. So is Coffee County, the Coffee County Board of Commissioners, to the point where they're gonna carry the baton to begin with and start this race? And is there a source of funding up to $3.5 million that this board is willing to commit to make this happen initially? That's not to say something won't happen later down the road that will supplement that, but right now, for them to move forward, you need that commitment. And right now, the other entities involved don't have the ability to do that. So that's number one. If that is something that you're wanting to do, then identify the source of that financial commitment, and maybe Ben can give you an idea gradually over 18 months how much would be needed when. I know he said 1.5 or 1.6 by the end of the year, and then I guess extrapolate that out to 18 months. Once you do that, then my suggestion would be, if that's what you want to do, although you're not necessarily taking formal action, my opinion would be on a big ask like this, you have maybe an asterisk in the minutes that there was a motion to move forward tentatively, subject to agreements between Midwest Engineering and Wholesale 12 to work out some sort of written documentation that will memorialize what exactly that entails, because there are some legal hurdles to overcome, which may even include an interlocal agreement that would have to be reviewed and vetted by the Attorney General's office. So there are some legal obstacles, but once you get the green light, we can start working on that in the background, both myself and that it'll take a team to make it happen, because there are many layers.
So, on this design, would there just be one engineering firm? I mean, if I remember right, when it first started, wasn't there several engineers involved?
When we was doing, remember, is when we was doing chips, there were several engineers involved with these 4 different
Right,
engineering firms.
so on this project, there'd just be,
This is focused on wholesale 12, and wholesale 12 is selected as an engineer.
okay,
The entire time, Wholesale 12 worked on the engineering part of this, clear up to the Kansas Water Office, to make sure that we was keeping them informed,
Right.
keeping them in line with what their objectives was for us to do. So Midwest has been the lead the entire time.
So you have access to all of that information with the other 4 engineering firms that you can get your hands on instead of reinventing the wheel?
The wet utilities, the water, yes, not any of the other.
One of the things that would have to be ironed out, figured out behind the scenes, is whether this would be for this initial engineering design phase, an agreement between the county and Midwest Engineers, or whether that would also include Wholesale 12 and what the benefits are to doing it one way or the other. Because there may be a benefit from a financial standpoint later on down the road when you're asking for money outside of Coffee County for the other entities, so that would have to be looked into and researched.
And typically, we work directly with Wholesale 12 as the owner and operator, but I did check and we are willing to have something directly with the county if there are more benefits to doing it that way.
And then the last thing is someone either here or on the outside may ask, engineering is not one of the items where the county has to go out and request to do an RFP. So because of engineering that side, I've already looked into that. just in case.
That was one of my main questions for you, is that if you do consider this, make sure you follow your sections on that.
So financially worst case scenario, if we paid all 3.5 million, that represents 5 mils in 1 year for us. That's, now breaking it down into thirds or whatever, say one of like, say 1.5 million by the end of the year. I mean, we have some funds like community improvement reserve, stuff like that. I imagine that money could come out of.
Yeah, you could do that, but I would just remember that you guys are cutting you're trying to cut your
Yeah.
money back this year, so you're not gonna have a lot to transfer
And
out.
we're gonna have that discussion too later on. And then, as far as next year goes, I mean, we'll probably have proceeds from the sale of the house up there. I don't know if we're allowed to spend those under budget next year, but it would, I mean, that'll be, I don't know, what, $1 million, $1.5 million?
You offset this big amount of money.
Yeah. And then, but then we're still talking, and then hopefully there'll be some grants, offset all this too, and possibly a little bit of participation from some other counties.
Yeah, some other contributions.
I would hope if we're making a big step like that, there would be some other counties at least
That would
put
step in,
some
yes.
in. But yeah, you're right, that's a big ask. Yeah, budget-wise, yeah, we need to, when we talk about our budget later on, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider there. I know it's absolutely necessary for, we're gonna sustain growth up north, especially you're talking some industry. Any chance of having some industry?
This long range for our county too.
Whether it be North Property, Vito, or airport, of course, we're really wanting to develop the airport, so it'd be really beneficial to the county down the road, especially get that industry and expand the tax base. Any other thoughts?
Sometimes you have to spend money to make money. I don't like taxes,
And it's something needs to happen.
but,
Something needs to happen to get off dead center.
Yeah, and it'll benefit all of our people in the county, just not us 700. I mean, we're gonna have better quality of life for all of our citizens, and it's gonna benefit them all.
Just looking at it on the long term, that allows us to make more of a water plan for the whole county as we move through this, because we can shift some of the demand other places, shift some of the volume to other places that can definitely use it, especially the southern half of the county.
I think,
I was just saying, I know it's a huge project for the design and just overall, but I really think we're looking at growth or even just keeping our communities thriving in the next 10 years. I see this as one of the most important projects that we can look at. We're wanting to bring in more jobs, or more families, or just allowing the people that currently live here to have clean water. I think it's very important.
water's just everything, really, when you get right down to it. With anything you're gonna do.
and to support those pieces, this keeps you in a proactive stage. If you get to a point, we have a drought next summer, and you're responding in emergency mode, you will see this and way more, and you won't have anything to show for it. So I like the proactive thing.
Even if we don't grow, we're still going to guarantee water for our citizens that we have. Growth will come eventually, but I think our citizens right now are the primary reasons to do this. And to get the people who came in the southern part of the county with the meters and the water that they need.
And the way it stands right now, if we can't guarantee some water, then our growth isn't going to
Make sure you clarify, this is purely residential or very small growth. This is business as usual. This is not a large industrial growth with these two phases.
But as we talked the other day, we're able to piggyback off of, we start this process, we can move into that third phase real easy.
It gives you a plan.
Yes.
So are we looking for a motion to tentatively approve?
I don't even know if anything needs to be tentatively approved, a motion to move forward with the discussion related to, I don't even know how to word it. I mean, you're not formalizing anything. You're identifying, are the funds available? They need to be looked into and vetted a little more. We need to get the attorneys involved and put an agreement together and see what that would look like. But that's really the next step. If you're wanting to move forward, then you have to have that agreement, what that looks like, because it'll have to clear whatever legal hurdles need to be cleared, and I can work with their attorney. I've already done some research myself.
And so with something like that, that would get us off center but not commit any funds as of right now. Is that correct? I mean, is that the way?
Yeah, I think if you identify that the funds are there and where it would come from, I mean, that's phase one in my opinion, and then make a motion that you were, I just want to see a placeholder where this discussion began, so it's in the minutes, so when you get to the point where now, the next thing will be the agreement that has to be signed with Midwest Engineers. And
Usually the way I say this is your low risk step. This gets you at the table to discuss what your plan is. The next time we come back, it will be, there is a proposal, there is a contract, there is a commitment.
So that'd be the real-
will be the point.
The real deal?
That is the real deal. This is not that. This is a low risk. We are going to create that.
Would you like a week or so to pull a resolution or a motion together? Just to think it through and I'll get Wade and leave. That'd be better.
That gives you time to.
May take a couple weeks.
yeah, I don't even
One
think.
week.
Well,
One week.
so the
We
agreement
can do
side,
it.
this is just the commitment of the Coffee County Board of Commissioners to explore moving forward with up to $3.5 million for the design phase towards the increase in capacity for both.
Design of phase 1 and 2.
Right.
I think is
And the exploration and commitment does not mean that you're signing anything on the dotted line. That just means you're committed to exploring what it will take to move this forward. And really, that's, for me, the placeholder in your minutes is, this is where this began, and then once you have a document in writing that can be put up there and discussed in this session, and you make a formal motion to vote and sign your name on the dotted line, then that's when your real commitment takes place. Is that you good with that?
Yeah, this, up until now, it's all been discussion and questions. So this is just simply, we are committed to working together.
And we have another meeting to talk about potential funding and grants this week on Wednesday. So I can update you all after that, like, more information on what we think we might be eligible for.
and we can put something together by the end of the meeting today, or we can wait till next week. I mean, you're not committing to anything, you're just saying, let's move this thing forward.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I think
We need to get on.
we've
We
had this
listen to
forever.
this, yeah.
Let's
do
get
something.
the ball rolling.
Yeah.
If we have to reel it in later if we can with the non-committal.
See if that will prepare someone.
That,
And if there are any other discussions, I can step out and let you work on that. I think some others have some.
Okay, with moving forward with an initial financial commitment of up to 3.5 million, because there may be a request later on, right? So it's not just 3.5 million, that's just to get the ball rolling, right? And then this reads design phase 1 and 2. This is just the design only phase.
And to that, I don't see us coming back and asking for another follow-up. That'll be the work towards the project.
And maybe to line up with this document, instead of saying design phase 1 and 2, just say
Engineering design?
preparation of engineering design documents.
I would just say towards the development of a 3MGB plant at Coastal Cove.
Towards the development,
Of a 3MGB plant,
3M.
million gallons a day.
Oh.
you can probably take off water infrastructure expansions. That plant for public wholesale. 3MGD plant for public wholesale. But you already know.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh,
You're almost there.
Then after 3.5 million, it says of maybe four D.
I put dollar sign on
Oh, yeah.
Does that look okay?
I would entertain a motion to commit exploring moving forward with an initial financial commitment of up to $3.5 million for the preparation of engineering design toward the development of a 3MGD plant, that's million gallons per day plant, for public wholesale water supply district number 12.
I'll second that.
Parker moved, Thompson seconded. Have any other discussion? We'll have lots of future discussion.
Yeah, just to begin.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay. And commit to exploring.
So you're saying we got some work to do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. gotcha.
So, I just making sure.
Yeah, I put you down.
Thank you very much.
There is, there's.
At least, right now,
Just to be prepared for the future.
yes.
Brian, are you okay if we take a quick break or?
Yeah, I do. Because everybody has a, if you go to the interest, we're at 6.5. Sunset clause on it. Exactly, it's just.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, those, when you put a tax on something, it usually never comes off.
Yeah, that's the problem, if you don't have the end to it.
But this is something I wanna run by Richard, see if he can throw some numbers.
Not yet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna take a recess for, 5 minutes, enough for everybody?
Yeah.
Come back at 10:16.
That's just.
Session, so,
Yeah.
That's fine.
That was quick.
yeah,
I'll holler in.
All right.
should've made it 7 minutes.
How you doing?
I'm not no further comment on that.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to hear my comment with the prospect.
Okay, we're back in open session. And I believe we are ready for Road and Bridge. Superintendent Ryan Durst, department updates and motions.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Ryan. How's everyone doing?
Wonderful.
Good, so far.
Good deal.
Till this afternoon when we have to get out in the heat.
Yeah. Be a little warm for a couple days, looks like. Time of year. A few motions here. First one will be a CP2 for Clayton Bowman. Bowman, he completed his CDL. It's actually completed back in June, and I just neglected to get this CP2 done, so we'll be backdated back to the day that he completed his CDL, June 15th.
Okay. Looks like you need a, see, Angie is
Off on there.
Standing in there talking to Kelly.
okay, I would, I'll just mark it here. Entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the CP2 for Clayton Bowman, highway, heavy equipment operator, completion of CDL, wage classification from 35-02 to 35-03, wage $22.02 to $22.58, effective June, oh wait, we just said,
Should be, yes.
you said effective June 15th,
Yes.
2026.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thompson moved, McCurdy seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you. And next will be a motion, change order. And this would be for the intersections down there at Leroy. This would be on the Shetland intersection. I had discussion with you. We added the south side in there while they were down there. So this is just for the increase for the milling and the asphalt that's done on the south side.
It needed it.
Oh, it needed it. Yes, definitely.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the following change order regarding project number A 2601-C. Additional milling and hot mix asphalt tonnage of $23,595.24, with a total project cost of $112,132.74.
I'd make that motion.
All second. Okay, McCurry moved, Peterson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Alright, thank you. And the next one, this would be the 16th Road project. This is actually a change order, so, originally there was an 1.5 inch mill on this road, and when we got into it, and you can see that seam there, it's kind of delaminating, and so we ended up having to go another 1 inch additional depth just to kind of get that layer out of there. That stuff was physically, you could just grab it and rip it off the pavement. So, some addition.
16th looking north?
No, this would be 16th Road from Trefoil going east of county line.
Oh, okay.
16th to Yearling, from Trefoil to Yearling. But, so this, what this increase is for, the extra milling we had to have down there.
I was thinking of farming, but I guess it's done already.
Yeah. Okay, I'd entertain a motion for the board to approve the following change order regarding project number A 2604-C, additional milling and hot mix asphalt tonnage of $31,292, with a total project cost of $733,416.85.
So moved. Second.
Abercroft moved, McCurry seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Alright, thank you. And just an update on a couple other projects going on. Projects still going on out west of town here. Did want to show you one thing on some bridge approaches out there at Garner. So we've always had a lot of issues there with those approaches, and they're pretty rough. So I went to work on them and found out, I mean, there's did a 3-inch mill down through there, and you can see it when we got into it. Actually got into, that's all the asphalt that was on the bridge approaches. So, to correct that, we went ahead and going back with some base asphalt in there, so that just kind of shows we went down.
That's where you dug that out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we went down 8 inches, roughly 150 foot both directions, and
That's been an issue.
oh yeah, that we've maintained and had issues there with that bridge approaches for years. You know, the rougher and all get out, so that was kind of the plan, to kind of fix that and address that when we got out there. And you know, once we got into it, there definitely wasn't much asphalt down through there. So that's kind of what took place there. So I know, I mean, there'll be a change order of some sort on that project once it gets completed. We'll see where that comes in at. What else do we have? The BT Bridge, the deck pour will be tomorrow. Be pouring the deck down through there. And so that'll be, it's a big pour. I think they start at 4 in the morning out there on that one. So BG will be on site with their inspector, and then I'll send one of our inspectors out and help test some concrete. And a rough estimate would be about 2 months from the pour to get opened back up. Old 50, they are working on that. They're excavating out the shoulders today up there. So the rain kind of slowed them up a little bit.
Is that road closed, or is that?
It'll be, yes, it'll be closed. It'll be closed. That mile will be closed. I mean, the people that live there, or anybody that needs access to land can definitely get through there.
Just
it's
like
close to through traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of an update on the bigger projects.
Brian, did you help out there on the Bailey place to get a way back behind the house, back to the west side?
I
talked about that.
Yeah, I know Aaron Skillen was talking Here a while back, he was haying in there, so I think they've done that there, but I would have to double check.
Well,
I know Aaron was talking about getting some hay out of there, and,
he cut the fences and removed some posts to get into the west side.
okay.
The fence has been all drug back. I went out and looked at it Friday.
Was that up on the highway side, or was that
No,
on
it was
the east line?
On
the west line,
On the gravel.
on the gravel.
Oh, on the west line.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that links, yeah.
okay,
So, he needs to make sure that fence gets put back.
okay, yeah, I guess I didn't realize there wasn't an access
If you
on the
just
west
drive
side.
that, well, but I thought that's why we put the little, where you could get across the waterway to get back to the.
Well, that's different, I mean, you probably actually, I just presumed there was an entrance off there somewhere to Lane's.
Yeah, I was surprised.
To get in that west side, but.
So, well, I just know there's fence cut and wires pulled back and like.
I think
Looks
there
like
is.
he may be going to try to put it back together, but
Okay.
we need to make sure so private owners don't get it.
Yeah.
Running part of his fault.
There is a, I believe there's a gate on the west side, but it probably wasn't big enough for his.
Okay.
store,
Oh, okay.
My guess. I don't know, I'm just
It
guessing.
looks like what I saw, and it was he was moving hay out of it, maybe couldn't make the corner of the semi.
Yeah, and that gate was
It's kind of
not
flat.
semi-adequate, yeah. Semi-truck adequate,
Yeah.
is what I mean, yeah. So,
I had several people call that out, and when I finally got a chance to write out.
Yep. But no, I'm pretty sure we completed on the east side property, we got away from it.
yeah.
Any other questions for Ryan? Thanks for coming in.
All right,
Stay
Have a great
tuned.
week.
yep, stay up there with
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, I guess we're ready for round today. Well, we'll discuss budget stuff, I guess, after that. I guess first we can just go around, I guess. Wade, do you have anything?
The market update with McGrath, it's moving behind the scenes. I don't have a timeline, I just know that they've indicated they're working on it. I think they're doing point factoring right now. I'm anticipating having a more substantive update by the end of the month, but that process is moving, just so you know. Cameron Roth, he has the keys to the north property. I think he'll start to see some marketing and some things through there here pretty soon. I think he's gonna run a drone and take some pictures, that type of thing. I think he was up there over the weekend. And then the last thing that I have is probably a 10-minute executive session. So, and the board, under attorney-client for potential litigation.
Okay.
So you can move around, and when she comes back, you can just revisit that, so you're making progress.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. All right, Todd, do you have?
I've been contacted by a couple different people wondering about the possibility, if I'm correct, our gravel roads have a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit on them in Coffee County, which myself, I think is way too fast. What spurs this is I had a neighbor, and my son lives on this stretch 8th Road. This is not my son, I'll bring that up. What's spurring a bunch of this discussion is, and not to single them out, other people too, but these drivers that carry a bunch of these Amish people are driving crazy. 60-mile-an-hour plus on the gravel, and people are really getting tired of it. And I hear the same complaints over in Lyon County, a bunch of people that live over there And like I say, I'm not singling them out, 'cause there's other people that drive way too fast on the gravel, but, you know, this neighbor asked me if there was a chance of getting the speed limit on that particular road because of this situation, and I said, well, myself, I'd be more in favor of changing the speed limit on all of our gravel roads.
Yeah, I didn't know that, are any of the gravel roads posted even?
I don't believe so.
I don't think they are.
I mean,
I just figured 35, 40 miles an hour on gravel.
well, I mean,
It's reasonable.
his suggestion was 40, but I mean, some people might not like that very good. But if you had 45, people are still gonna drive 50 at least, that wanna drive too fast.
5 over.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
I just maybe something to think about that, I've thought forever it's very unsafe. I mean, I've had that where, you know, my trucks and everybody, I'm like, you guys pull over and you slow down to 20 or something, or 25 when you're meeting a car, if you just splatter them with rocks, and these guys come by and just about halfway's out of control, meet me on the road. Just something that I didn't know if and we'd have to get Tom involved in everything too, in discussion if we wanted to pursue that, but am I correct? The way it is 55 now.
Yeah, I think the default on roads, if there is no posted speed limit, is 55. So it would require probably not only Tom, but Ryan and the county engineer, because I think if you're gonna modify a speed limit or do something, you have to do it by resolution, and they'd have to, I don't remember exactly what they have to do, but
Okay.
there's steps that have to be taken.
So I just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know what everybody thinks of that. I mean, would they have to be posted then if we change that?
Yeah,
Would it
it's
require
required.
times?
Because the majority of the county roads, if not all of them, are gravel. I don't think they have a speed limit sign posted, so if you adjust that, then you have to put people on notice that the speed is something different than what state statute says that it is, and I'm not sure what exactly that entire process is.
If that, how much signage that would require or whatever if we did that.
Yeah.
Did it throughout the county, it'd be massive, I'm sure.
Right, right. And if that required signage, which maybe it would, to make it enforceable.
Don't run away too long, Angie.
Okay.
But that's all I've got for today.
Okay. We're gonna go into an executive
Okay.
session.
What's it gonna be on?
It's gonna be 10 minutes for potential litigation, attorney-client for potential litigation.
Do you have anything, Mike?
Yes. Wednesday night, you guys obviously know about the planning meeting at the library at 7 p.m. to potentially change the zoning at the airport to industrial, so everybody's invited to come to it if you'd like. County appraiser position, we need to advertise for that. I know there was several emails sent out here about concerned citizens getting it out there.
Whatever direction we decide we're gonna go, I think we're still trying to determine that whether to go full-time or appoint or share.
Something we probably ought to look into.
But our last meeting, what, 31st?
And I don't know if we need a temporary interim or something
Yeah.
until we figure out.
We do, I'd say.
But I just received a packet from the state. I talked to the state appraiser person, Bob Ken, is that
Yes.
and requested that they send all documents related to that to me. It looks like that just came in this morning, so while you're going over budget, what I'm gonna do is I'll go to my office, I'll print that documentation off, bring it to you, have it as a packet, but you'll, at a minimum, need to consider appointing an interim. That interim, if I understand correctly, there's a state statute that's specific to that. It can be up for up to 6 months. And don't quote me on that, because I need to look at what was said. But
Connie told us that, I believe.
But the key is, in a 4-year period, you can only have an interim for up to 6 months during that entire 4-year period. There are a number of other entities out there that have, that are shared, and you can have somebody who does not have all the qualifications and is pursuing those qualifications, and then within a certain period of time. But more importantly, right now, there's a form that has to be signed off on by the board or the county clerk, I don't know which one, and then sent to the state to let them know that there's going to be a vacancy and that it will be filled, and that's a statutory requirement. So I will get those documents while you're covering other things and bring it back so you can take a look. I thought I'd have them by the end of last week, but they just showed up this morning.
Just thought I'd throw that out there to try to.
Yeah, that's something you need to take care of.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Yes, sir. I don't.
Nope. We'll go ahead and do this, go in executive session here. I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session for 10 minutes to include each of the commissioners and county councilor Wade Bowie II to discuss matters deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship regarding potential litigation under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B2, to resume in the commission chambers at 10:50.
If you could change that to county attorney.
County attorney instead of county councilor.
Oh, okay,
County attorney.
sorry. Great.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Curry moved.
I'll second it.
And Avondra seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. We will return at 10:50. Okay, go in for 7 minutes, same reason.
Okay, so I have 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session for 7 minutes to include each of the commissioners and county attorney Wade Bowie II to discuss matters deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship regarding potential litigation under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B2, to resume in the commission chambers at 10:59.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, who moved? I'm sorry.
Thompson.
Thompson moved? Okay, McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. So we will return at 10:59. 10:59, we're back in open session. No action taken following any of those, either of those executive sessions.
There's two motions, you need to rescind one and make a new one. The wrong wage was put in on the first one.
So we're correcting the, this is from earlier today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the correct one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I will move to rescind the motion. McCurry moved to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Austin Weiss, Deputy Director, Radiological Officer, step change, completion of IPP, wage classification from 55-6 to 55-7, wage from $31.48 to $32.23, effective August 1, 2026. And Abderall seconded. Motion passed. I made the motion.
Oh, I'll second.
McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They oppose? Passes 5-0. Now, the motion that replaces that. I'd entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Austin Weiss, Deputy Director, Radiological Officer, step change, completion of IPP, wage classification from 55-5 to 55-6, wage from $30.74 to $31.48, effective August 1st, 2026.
No move.
Second it.
Thompson moved, Avondale seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Oh. Do you have anything for the roundtable, Angie?
Nope.
Now, next week, we're canvassing
Yeah.
election, right?
We'll be canvassing, yeah.
Everything go pretty smooth with setting up
Yeah, very much.
everything?
Everything went smooth, probably one of the smoothest elections we've had.
Good deal.
Got done early and no issues and.
A big thanks to all your volunteers that had
Yeah.
show up and run polling stations and
Yeah,
made it done.
can't do it without them, for sure. And they all did a great job in bringing everything back
Yeah.
early too, and it's just smooth all the way around.
Very good.
Don't think I have anything to add. When we get down to this, I mean, we can just discuss budget more and then.
Are there some special issue checks in that folder?
I thought,
Did you already give it to me?
I think that's what it was.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that was payroll check.
Now, there's just one.
In there, in that folder? Okay.
Everything here goes into that one.
Just a FYI, I know earlier we passed around, Richard provided us the bond payment update. There's 2 series of bonds that are being paid related to the jail and payments made this month. Anyway, the total, the 2 of them added together, the bonds paid are basically $2.3 million and interest paid $2 million for a total paid of $4.35 million. And there's an outstanding balance overall of $17.66 million. So we're several years into paying.
That's on the jail.
Yeah, I believe that's on all in jail. So he said it doesn't involve, because there's some payments made on SSM too, but that comes out of SSM's taxes.
Yeah.
The way the CID's set up.
I think this one goes. I think this is about the other one. No. I just put them all together. Just put it on top of the green one down there that Tom's got. That one, okay. I'm sure these are helpful. Yes. I'm sure those ladies can figure it out. I have no idea what that one's for. It's 30 to 60 days late. And then on the next page, daily.
This one.
Yeah. And then the next page, I think, tells you the daily rate. $125 a day. 21 days, and that brings you to that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I might also add that the treasurer's office will be publishing 3 times beginning this week the list of delinquent real estate taxes.
Okay.
So that'll be starting this week, and there's a total of $315,876.21 of delinquent taxes for 2025. Forgot about that.
something more, Steve?
Well, no, not really. I still go back to it's down from last year. No, I mean,
So you got me sit down just to do payroll, or is this gonna put in the revenue line? Over the state.
I just have to see, so that position, that back into the program.
I think that's what was agreed upon.
And then, and really the county board
Agreed.
and then I would put that position under county health insurance.
Instead of one person on Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is probably killing them.
I'm just, unless they want to get rid of that position.
I don't know. Can you build one control to it?
I don't know. How much of it was for personal expenses? Different services, $65,000.
So if you give them if you give them 260, and you pay out, how much does she got there? 154.5 total?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're losing $105,000 to do when you do that. What? What do you do with $105,000?
Well, that would be where you would come in.
So, I guess talking about budget, well, and even wholesale 12 thing that we just talked about, you know, one of the possible sources of funding we mentioned was community improvement reserve, but at the end of the year, the way some of those reserve funds are funded are with excess dollars, I guess, in those funds, which we are trying to trim, so the better job we do at trimming, the less there's going to be to fund the reserve funds. Am I correct in saying that?
That's right.
So,
And you still have your capital improvement plan that you have to have funded. So that's one you're gonna need to put some money into, and then, I mean, you know, it's kind of double-edged sword, but
so I'm just trying to figure out where to go on something. I mean, if we do really good job of trying to trim everything down even further, then we're gonna be hurting on the back end. On the reserve funds.
Yeah, there just gets to be a limit of feasibility, I guess, so what makes sense, but cuts down on reserves.
and this is what's happened in the past too, is they trim down stuff so much, then there's not much to transfer out at the end of the year to replenish those reserve funds. So decisions you make today will affect
Next year.
and year end.
We did that 2 years
It's
ago.
gonna affect you in three areas. And I think it was hard for some to put their brain around how that works.
It's moving on down the line.
Yeah.
Just kicks the can down the road, eventually you'll have a massive increase.
Well, and that's what we did 2 years ago, to some extent.
Well, and to me, I mean, just what I've seen over the years, and I'm not the expert, but I've been a taxpayer and I've seen it. It's easier for me as a taxpayer, probably for a majority of the people, to have a $20 increase. Then you lower it down or try to keep it down like last year, the year before, and then the next year you gotta raise me up $100. I'd rather have a $20 increase this year and maybe a $20 increase next year than trying to play that yo-yo game. But that's me. Other people may think
No,
different.
you're right. I mean,
That's what happened.
it's hard to swallow the big chunks.
And, 85% or 84% of everything comes from Wolf Creek. So, but there's a lot of taxpayers that have to pay for that, too, their part too.
So far, we've kept it under the CPI, which is basically inflation. We've kept it under inflation. We're not at R&R. And if you get to R&R, basically R&R, you're just spending the same, or budgeting the same amount that you did last year. I even phrase that wrong, you're levying the same amount of tax dollars as you did last year.
But you're not keeping up with inflation either.
Yeah. Now, if we were exceeding inflation, I would really be concerned.
Right now, we're at a 1.681 mil increase over last year.
No, over R&R.
Over R&R, I'm sorry.
Our mill levy
is down from last year.
Yeah, mill levy's actually down from last year.
That's right. But then on the other side of Wolf Creek's appraisal rate went up.
Yeah, well, and utilities in general, yeah. And if we're ever faced with a year where it goes the other way,
Which we were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we dealt with that before. Back in the beginning. when we-
Yes, 23, 24. They valued about 40 million or 45 million.
Yeah, they lowered it.
Yeah.
That's just, and I mean,
so.
that's kind of something that, in my mind, if they're not making improvements to facilities out there, to equipment and everything, that's something that probably is eventually gonna happen. Maybe not. Maybe their value goes up because of the cost of building something like that.
Transformers.
Yeah, that's what, when they did all that, Tom, yeah. That's what, but if they weren't doing those kind of things, I wouldn't be surprised if it went down sometime, and that's really difficult.
It is.
They always have to look at the future as, Wolf Creek's getting older, and the way it is now, it may not be there producing electricity in the future. I would hope they would.
Yeah, I hope they continue, when that's no longer serviceable, but they've got the site, switch yard, everything's there, you'd hope they would have some replacement generating stuff there at some point.
Should be knowing sooner or later what's going on out there with another reactor.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Well, the
And
demand,
I think with the demand that's going on with power, they're going to keep using Wolf Creek until it basically is fingers.
And
oh,
they
I
have,
agree.
and they have the infrastructure in place. That's why I would hope something would happen.
Yeah.
there.
When it needs a replacement, maybe something would be done on
And
that
it's a
side.
flagship of the energy, so.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything for granted either.
No, this is
Right.
true.
That's the thing, because, you know, wasn't that long ago, we were looking, their licensing was already expired, you know, until they got extended,
Right.
we'd be expired now. That's what, 45 now, it's extended to, is that correct?
I think so.
I don't think, there's not a lot of them that have laid down. There's some that have not been allowed to go, but they keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they generate a lot of electricity, and the demand for electricity continues to grow.
Yeah. And there's no doubt, as we discussed earlier, that the project that Wholesale 12 wants to do, water is going to be really important to Coffee County and all areas, in the future, and you can't wait until it's a crisis, you gotta.
Because we could be on the verge of that, where we are running capacity.
Yeah.
During peak periods.
Yes, when you have
Right.
high heat and drought.
Need to be something goes down.
Yeah.
So what we do now on that commitment, you're looking several years down the road before anything happens. And,
I think that's something we just gotta do.
well,
And
they need to,
find a way to do it.
they need to do that so we can set the stage for hopefully doing even more in the future,
Yeah.
especially with the industrial use or whatever. Last year, when we did that 1% cut in all departments, how much money was that, like 60 or 70,000? Am I thinking different?
I cannot remember.
I can't
I
remember.
remember the figure, Mark.
I'm not suggesting that right now, but I was trying to figure out how much that would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went back and questioned large increases that departments had and had explanations from them. I mean, and I'm not saying I wasn't against that last year, but it, we try to come to a figure and then we, and I know 1%, that's something that would be doable, but, at some point, it's like, I just hate to see us cutting into the quality of services we provide.
Well, I do
Said
too.
before, I'm not ready to give it up, I guess.
Yeah. If it was like about a couple hundred, that wouldn't have quite been that people on the job. It wouldn't have been all departments.
Last year, one mill was 676,000.
Yeah, I think it was around 100,000.
Oh, that 1%.
Yeah. looking at this here, again.
Somewhere down the line, I think that truly needs to be a way back to the office room back to the, is that?
I think their meeting is next week. So, Tuesday. Who's that? Housing
And we did increase that, so I. I'm not gonna lose it now, but I just don't see anything where we can. It's like road and bridge, we keep that, and come off from. Yes, McCurry. That's not private, that's not, County. 1948. gmail.com. Oh, man, I don't know.
I mean,
Because as a whole, I feel like our departments have done a really good job of.
Yeah, I feel like they've responded and been, you know, respectful of what they've turned in.
I do too, I just.
okay.
Well, we've got another week.
Yeah.
What is it, the 24th?
24.
24th hearing.
Yep.
If you guys have any other suggestions on budget, we'll just keep studying it another week.
The other thing I brought up before is $1 million for infrastructure for the cities, but I hate to see that.
Yeah, we do. And they depend on that so much, and they do so much good with it within the communities, for
Yeah, that's.
Well, and I was thinking over the weekend, I mean, you could almost, in the future, I mean, other counties, they do a sales tax and distribute it to the cities. But, you could almost do that and have a little bit of relief there, but then you're, a couple of years down the road, you're back at the same situation.
Right.
So, you know, I don't think you really gain anything there. Except you're shifting it from property tax to sales tax. I don't know how much a half cent or a full cent sales tax, I'm not exactly sure how much that would bring in.
Richard looking into it.
Yes.
My thought for funding of water.
Yeah, that, it could be. I was thinking about for infrastructure of the weekend and then, yeah, talking about the water and everything, I mean, that could be a possibility there too, so.
Well, and the other thing is, if you were to look at, and I hate to say the infrastructure, but if a lot of them have money banked, and you could go 1 year without giving them.
Their disbursement.
A lot of, I mean, some of them that are banking, some of it is for a larger project. You know, like Leroy's, they're doing a bunch of infrastructure projects all at once. Maybe not. Sometimes get head of council to do that. Oh, yeah. I bet they get back together. Yeah.
Well, in Waverly, I know, for instance, the Dearborn project right now is on an exhibition, and we're using part of that money for development of that.
Do you have any household going in at the right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's, between Nebo and Waverly, I mean, there's several projects, out in the country, and then like in Waverly, I think there's 2 houses that are just being finished up in that project out there, in the old project, and then that fills all the lots up out there until they get the new Neither do you.
Another section, so
Yeah.
you keep going.
Yes. So that is a project in motion. And that's why I said a while ago that in the northern part of the county, the growth is in housing, I mean, somewhat, I mean, there's new houses going up all the time.
Slower than southern.
Yes.
I think a lot of that's based upon the availability of water. South End.
Yeah, I think that's,
Well,
yeah, that's a big issue of the
Oh, yes,
geographic location, but that's they'll combine on those two water lines, I think. It's
Expand what the potential is.
way more capacity, yeah.
All right, we ready to move on to appraiser? Wade,
oh, yeah.
Wade retrieved some paperwork.
I'm gonna hand it out instead of sending it around, because
I do not need that spatula.
packet money.
We can't trouble that. At the time your hand slips and you can't tell what this is what.
We got a little box of Crayon in the house.
Okay, so you have a number of different things that I handed out. The top one is the email from the state, and it kind of fills you in on what exactly is going on, and from the Department of Revenue, what their perspective is. Second one is a sample form that they sent for notification of county appraiser change. That's the blank one. Immediately behind it, I took the liberty to add the information, appraiser's name, county, effective date, reason appraiser did not complete the 4-year term, and then all of your names and signatures. Directly behind that is a sample resolution for the appointment of an interim county appraiser, and it kind of gives you the statutory authority and language. Directly behind that is the appointment of a county appraiser, the statutory authority for doing that. Directly behind that are the statutes that deal with appraiser 19-430, 19-432. Statutory change in red at the bottom in 19-432 under subsection 4, or subsection D. And that statute was amended in 2021. Board of County Commissioners or governing body of any unified government of each county shall immediately notify the director of property valuation when a person no longer holds the office of county appraiser for such county. Notification shall be made on a form provided by the director. If the person no longer holds the office of county appraiser before the expiration of a 4-year term, or the person does not complete a 4-year term, then the notification shall include the reason therefor, unless otherwise precluded by law. Director shall make a notation on any eligibility list of the person when the person no longer holds the office of county appraiser before the expiration of a 4-year term, or the person does not complete a 4-year term. So that's what that form covers. Directly behind the statutes is a list of qualified individuals throughout the entire state, and at the top of it says if you need magnifying glasses like I probably do, eligible for appointment as county appraiser. So it has that whole list as a spreadsheet, and then immediately following that is the name of those individuals and their email addresses. So that should be what you have and what I handed out. I tried to put it all together. For today, the thing that you'll need to do, if you agree, is the notification of county appraiser change that you're required to send notice to Division of Property Valuation. And I had talked to this division, their division lead or chief last week and asked that they send all this to me so I could get it to you. Start chewing on it. You're gonna have to figure out the interim side of it, because you're probably gonna need an interim that will kind of take the reins while you're figuring out whether you're gonna bring somebody in from another county, whether you're gonna advertise, whatever it is you're gonna do. And you're gonna have to have somebody who obviously is qualified to hold the position, so.
So the first thing we need to do is pass a motion to
Correct.
this, right?
And then that'll have to be sent to the state.
You should have that in there. Looks like 2 minutes. Well, that's right. Fill that one, it's right there.
Oh,
Oops,
okay.
nothing,
Oh, we need to
nothing, right there.
Okay.
In my screen, relax.
So this is the kind of, this is the kind of, if I'm a kid.
So, for the future then, what, do we wanna go ahead and have a full-time appraiser in the future? Is that what our goal is, or do we wanna share?
I think we need to look at what our options are before we commit to one or the other, because we may not be able to have that ability to find it other than a warm body.
Yeah, that would be my, I agree with you, Todd, but that'd be my thought.
If we advertise it maybe as a shared position or a full-time position here in the county. Because we really don't know what's out there. Or in-house.
Yeah, my, strong preference is we have a full-time person to head up that department, is my preference.
And that would be my preference, if we could find one that was qualified.
If, I mean, everything worked out, that's the idea.
Right.
And I agree with that.
And when you said warm body, yeah, we want somebody that's qualified in that position.
Yeah, so I guess if it could be worded, you know, full-time or possibly shared position, if we could word it that way, so they know, these people looking at the app, you know, if they
That we
advertise.
prefer full-time.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
But shared is a possibility.
Would be a
Does that work?
I think that's.
Yeah, I think so.
Angie, when does Connie's current term expire?
Wasn't the 31st?
Well, the term, or term.
I think-
She'll be on a 4-year.
I wanna
Yeah.
say it was in June, but I'd have to look back. It seems like it was always approved in June.
She was reappointed in June?
Yeah.
So it just started.
Let me see if I can find a motion on that.
So, under 19-430, whenever a vacancy shall occur in the office of county appraiser, the Board of County Commissioners, or governing body of any unified government shall appoint an eligible Kansas appraiser to fill such vacancy for the unexpired term.
We can't,
And then,
we can't hire an intern, it has to be appointed for the entire term.
well, no, you get to, you have eligibility for an interim
Okay.
or,
6 months.
Yeah, up to 6
Up
months.
to 6 months.
And then the next person we'd hire would be, go to her position for her.
so in the letter, or in the email sent to me, that's the first thing you have.
Right.
19-430 allows for the temporary appointment of a county appraiser on an interim basis upon approval of the Director of Property Valuation Division. The interim provision allows the appointment for a period not to exceed 6 months to make a request to the Director for an interim appraiser appointment. The attached resolution should be completed, signed, and returned to the Director by the County Commission electronically. The interim resolution shall be accompanied by the candidate's resume, and/or list of credential qualifications to be approved by the director. The director will review the information submitted and respond to the commission accordingly.
Time frame on that, as soon as possible.
Well, I think there has to be an interim, probably before, at or by the date the resignation.
The day after?
Yeah. So then, when you're talking about filling the position 19,430, these are the kind of things you're looking for. No person shall be appointed to the office of county or district appraiser or fill a vacancy therein unless such person is currently 1, certified general real property appraiser pursuant to Article 41, Chapter 58 of the Kansas statutes annotated and amendments thereto, or 2, a registered mass appraiser pursuant to rules and regulations adopted by the Secretary of Revenue.
That was this jump. Do we have any idea?
Well, I don't-
Anybody now has any thoughts?
Yeah, probably. I don't know when the last one, because I will be making the one.
Inquire about it.
It's the last one. You wanna bring Connie in and ask her?
So I looked at 17 to 2020. Let me see. Let me look at last year.
It probably would hurt.
Yep.
I missed part of the discussion, when we're talking about qualifications to be hired, appointed an intern.
Out of that department, if there was anybody that was qualified, put in this.
Qualifications in the statute.
Connie, so
That's fine.
be okay for, qualify for an intern. I think she's the only one who would qualify.
Yeah. It's my understanding.
Well, we call her down and ask her, please educate herself. Wheelchairs.
They're laying that one.
I think them stars circling around their heads like in the cartoon. Wade, those qualifications that you just read off,
Yes, sir.
is that something we can ask Connie if she's aware of those?
Oh, I'm sure she is. If you look at the eligible list, so it's looking like you have someone that covers both Rawlins and Logan County, someone covers Hodgman and Grove, someone covers Stafford and Comanche, someone that covers Lane, Ness, and Rush, someone covers Seward, Morton, and Stevens. So it's not uncommon, especially with the
Should be here just a minute.
someone covers Montgomery and Labette. Someone covers Decatur, Norton, and Sheridan. Scott and Wallace, Hamilton and Kearney, Greeley and Wichita, Morris and Wabunsee.
But even if that, we're still going to have to maintain an appraiser's office with personnel. I mean, that's.
Yeah. So what you don't know is for an appraiser who covers multiple counties, what that structure looks like and how that oversight.
Yeah.
But you have a list and you could probably, if you want, reach out. I could, if you wanted to, I could reach out. I mean, it all depends on what direction you're wanting to go. If I understand your general inquiry at this point, that everything's on the table, you don't know what you want to do. Connie, just so you know, the state, I reached out to them last week, they sent me a whole packet full of details and information, and that's what they're asking about. They want to ask specifically about some of the requirements the state statute requires. No person shall be appointed to the office of county or district appraiser, or to fill vacancies unless such person is one. Current, a certified general real property appraiser pursuant to Article 41 of Chapter 58, or two, a registered mass appraiser pursuant to rules and regulations adopted by the Secretary of Revenue. So I think that leads into their questions for you. Go ahead.
Oh, well, we was questioning one of them, we had Connie, was in your office down there, do you have anybody there that would meet the temporary intern qualifications that are described in Washington State?
My understanding, and you may need to check with the state again, you can put an intern in if they're working on their own land.
Okay. And that's for, was that read, that's for up to 6 months is the maximum on that, is that correct?
Yes.
And you do have one employee that's working on their own.
Yes, I do. Should have it by the end of the year.
Okay.
I have one thing to say. You've been asking about the part-time appraiser, and I think
Part-time or sharing?
right.
Yes.
Sorry. My feelings on that is if you're going to do that, we're going to have to hire another person in the office because they're not going to be able to keep up. Because they're going to have to take up some of those duties of the appraiser. And I do have this, if you guys want to look at it, shared counties, how many parcels they have, their valuation, and their salaries. If I can find them.
Okay.
Okay.
My understanding is
And this is on the shared stuff, Colin.
Southeast Kansas, Anderson County also has Trio County. If I look at it right, he makes $70,000 there for I don't know how many days a week. He's in Western Kansas 1 day a week, and his salary's on there. I think it's $50-some thousand he gets out there. Labatt and Montgomery share an appraiser, and between the two counties, she makes $240,000 a year.
I think at this.
Out in Western Kansas, there's more ag parcels, so they can do more counties.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just bringing that up to your
Less
attention.
population is what you're
Less
saying.
houses and everything to do
Right.
with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking about our preference would be to have a full-time appraiser.
I think that's a great idea.
And, however, a part-time or shared would be an option, I
Right.
suppose.
Because, to your point, we're still going to have an operating officer no matter if
Exactly. Because if you just do part-time, you're probably going to have to hire another full-time person. It's already downsized too much.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I think that was the big question, wasn't it, guys, that we just wanted to make sure that those qualifications.
Something else I
would work.
wanted to bring up, just so you guys are aware, on the solar farms and the wind farms. The wind farms each have an acre that will be 1 acre commercial land instead of ag land. Solar, if they put solar in, it's going to be all considered commercial at market value, at 25% assessment rate. Just bringing that up so you guys are aware of that.
Okay.
I see.
All right.
So that'd be taxed at a higher rate.
Exactly. And market value instead of ag value, which
Okay.
is a lot higher also.
All right. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Tom. What if she wanted this back, or if she was getting rid of
We want me to flip it, or I think she gave you a copy. didn't she?
I think she just gave us.
It's all one thing.
Oh, it's all one thing?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're broken down into different counties.
Right.
would be nice to have copies, everybody had copies.
Okay. Yeah. Weird, but.
I thought that was a copy from Lisa.
No.
I was getting ready to hand that, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, nope, that's right. Okay, I'll get a copy. Should we do that before you leave today?
Yeah, might as well.
Give me a minute.
We'll reach you on it. Yeah, and then we need to make a motion.
See what you think about that.
We don't have time to find a replacement.
We can keep,
Hopefully we
This
get something
is
done.
from what she said, I'm reading this from this. You guys might read over it too, because she said somebody, if they were, looking to get their certificate of RMA. Yeah. Is that 19-430? No, you got 19-430. Certain back. What's that?
That you can be studying for.
No person shall be appointed to the office unless they're registered massacres pursuant to rules and regulations.
So we'll have to check on that, but that's what I would suggest. Bob King, whatever his name is at the state, find his information before.
And she said that the other one will be done by the end of the year.
right.
Check that out. Excuse me.
Got it all figured out.
Well,
Connie
sit for the.
Well, Connie said that you use somebody studying to get their RMA, but that's not what that letter says, so.
I think that's what they they said as well, and
They relayed that to you, did they?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna suggest, was if you didn't know, you needed to check into that.
well, I think they said within a certain period of time, they just have to have those credentials filled. So,
Just so we're, you know,
Yep.
meeting the qualifications.
Yep. My impression from the state was they want to help and provide assistance however they can. So sending all this stuff was kind of helpful. Usually don't deal with this, but maybe once every however many years,
Ian's just making copies of all that stuff that Colin gave me, and
Okay.
just gonna give everybody one to look it over.
We had that one form before that looked like that, but maybe it didn't have the salaries on it, like hers.
Yeah.
They just have the names and.
But yeah, I'm obviously not in favor of spending 50 or 60,000 for somebody that's gonna be here one day.
And then have to get another full-time person.
We'll have a person representing us and work in the office.
Making copies, do you wanna do that motion?
Yeah, we can do this motion
Have it on there, the salaries.
This is the one we have.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of, yeah, was that.
Okay, we're gonna do a motion for this notification of
Okay.
county appraiser change. I would entertain a motion under KSA 19-432D to approve the notification of county appraiser change and submit to the Director of Property Valuation at the Department of Revenue with the state of Kansas, notifying the state that the current appraiser, Connie Lawrence, will no longer hold the office of county appraiser for the current appointed term effective August 31st, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
McCurry moved, Thompson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. And we'll send this around because everybody needs to sign it.
Does that need to have an end date on it for her, current appointed term? Or is that something we just need to keep in here?
and that
I didn't-
notification.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had to notify it of her end date of her appointment.
They probably have that, I would assume. Guess they'll reject it if they don't like it.
I'm saying, if it's
We'll-
wrong, you'll
we'll
probably
hear
hear
about
from
it.
them, so.
From what I'm seeing, that's probably adequate there.
If you want it in color, it's already printed one gray. If you want it in color, I can reprint.
I don't think it needs to be colored.
Okay, all right, otherwise I'll restart it real quick before it prints all over.
If it looks okay to you, I'm fine. Color just makes it pretty.
You should be a doctor.
That's right.
Actually, one of the reasons for started last second problem since you took in for possible summertime.
So, internal workings of it?
Yeah, internal smell.
You got 'em up.
I've been doing that in science class years ago.
So as far as appointing an interim, we don't have to do that this week, correct? And just big double check and make sure everything be okay, and then do it next week.
Could that be done either the 24th or the 31st? Or do we need to do it next week? Or, I'm sorry, the 24th?
That's our budget hearing day.
Yeah. I say if we can just do it do it next week and just get that part done.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what we probably need to do.
Well, it sounds like your interim, once you appoint an interim, then the resolution has to be passed and their credentials have to go up to Topeka to be approved, so you're gonna want
Time is of the essence.
a little bit of time for that to happen.
If you're gonna want to interview this person, or you're just gonna appoint?
Well,
I know where you're going there, but I'm just saying to get us by, I mean, if we start, like, gonna do it next Monday, that'd be a little difficult.
Well, it would be effective after Connie's gone. I mean, are you wanting to
That's what I'm asking.
interview?
I think you identify someone who has the credentials to be the interim, and basically they're a placeholder until you figure out what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, we want to start advertising, figure that one out as soon as possible,
Right.
but we need to make sure we have the interim.
But then you need to ask them if they wanna be an interim.
Yeah.
If you go through all the work of appointing them, I'm not gonna do that.
That's, I'm assuming that probably worth checking into.
Or then they may just have the wanting to move on with it, they won't do it less, I mean, there's a lot of caveats that go with this.
I mean, we can interview next week if you want. I mean, I'm assuming we're talking in-house.
Just get our intern.
Right.
Yeah,
Interim.
because hopefully it's a short period of time, and
Yes.
we wouldn't wanna, somebody from the outside wouldn't wanna be an interim, and they wouldn't accomplish anything with the time they were.
I was thinking interim would just have to be in-house for this short of a period.
Yeah.
Just to get us by.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And then we could start immediately on wording some kind of advertisement, trying to seek our
Right.
next
Yeah,
full
try to
time.
get that ASAP. Need to get the wheels rolling on that.
Plus this,
What about a pay scale for them?
figure that one out too. Okay, so for the interim, that's what we have to use. So we'd probably want
Although
to
the language in that one,
have to get that all ironed out and everything.
so for a period not to exceed 6 months.
So.
And they don't have to be an eligible appraiser, is what it says in that.
I would think we'd want to have it good at least by the end of the year. Before.
The full-time position.
Yeah. Just as soon as possible.
That's what I was thinking as well, so. Okay, there's a lot of info in there.
Is there somewhere in the state that you have got all those listings of people that were appraisers and stuff? Is there anywhere that we can put that out online, or we have here some placement bulletin or something?
They probably be the county appraisers.
That guy said he could help with that, didn't he? Am I correct?
He said he could help, I'm not sure.
Because we might be able to snag somebody from Western mechanics wanting to move back to the eastern part of the state.
You never know. You never know.
Well, kind of like a teaching position, like
Yeah.
36 to 30, but you can find a 30 by 36.
I guess if you don't have anything else, I'm gonna adjourn you can, and then they can just wait on me here.
Oh, yeah, those, trying to button this up for what we're gonna do, so.
Did you sign that resolution or that letter?
That should be
Okay.
good.
Do I need to sign it now? Are you sending it up to the state?
If you wanna send it, because it's, the page one of what I sent,
To that?
you have to send it to that
Okay.
address.
Okay.
That way it officially comes from.
So next week's agenda, go ahead and do an interview with our potential interim.
Just to have that discussion.
Just a discussion or something.
They should be right there with them.
I think that'd be fine.
And just, then, say, well, they're in there for this position, doesn't mean you're not gonna be full-time, or, get that person, just have some people who see that out, so nothing wrong.
Maybe Bevel did.
Okay. Yep, we'll plan on doing that then.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, that's fine.
I got some homework. Canvas selections next Monday. The following Monday will be,
Okay, hold on.
budget hearing.
Get your mirrors or fire it back.
Holiday? No. Labor Day is, September.
The following Monday.
The following, yeah, September 7th. But we do sign warrants and vouchers on, August 27th. That's on Thursday. Okay. Okay.
That'll be here before we know it.
All right, if we have no further business, we will adjourn at 12:18.